Hello, look what we've got here. A whole bunch of props. I ordered these directly from APC in America because I discovered that they do actually make a 16 by 10 pusher, or counterclockwise I guess you'd call it, so you can make matching or counter-rotating props for your twin hopper, of course, is what I bought these for, the 16 by 10s, one of each side, or two of each side. And while I was ordering, I splashed out and bought a whole bunch of other stuff, because they have a wide range of other things as well. And what we're going to be looking at in this video is 7x7. Now, I got this because I wanted to try a speed test with this Homeslice8, I think this was, the kind of warbird looking one. And I wasn't really able to do that exactly how I wanted before because I only had 8x6 props and they're just not quite suitable. So I'm going to run it on 4S with the 7x7s. And I've seen the Hobby King EF Extra, is it? I think sort of a similar looking plane to this. And when you buy that, they recommend if you're using 4S to use one of these props. So I want to try a speed test again. And I don't need to use the S-Bus mixer for my speed test now because I have ArduPilot on there and I have FPV ready to go. And so we'll just be able to look at the ground speed on the OSD to check how fast we're going. And if you haven't seen me flying this very often, the reason is because I've flown it 8 times and 5 out of those 8 times I've broken a prop. So it just sort of doesn't really excite me, the thought of breaking props all the time. The other thing is that I thought it was going to be great fun to fly FPV low and fast over the trees around the farm, especially with the flight controller on there now. I don't have to worry about like losing radio signal or anything. But the problem is that well, there's 2 problems. One is that the prop, I thought it wasn't going to be annoying being in the FPV view, but it actually is kind of annoying. And not so much when you're flying, but when you're watching the video afterwards, I find it really annoying to have that prop in the view. So I wasn't expecting that. And the other problem is that there's just an annoying tendency to waver up, and then if you correct it, it wants to go down, and then it wants to go up again. So I'm not really sure if that's a CG issue. I don't think it is. I think it's more to do with maybe the tail's a little bit too short, or there's a little bit of slop in the elevator, but there's actually not. So I don't really know why it does that, but anyway, let's go for a fly today because it's beautiful, beautiful weather and no wind. So anytime you see the ground speed on the OSD, that should be pretty much the true ground speed, maybe give or take a few kilometers an hour either way. Interesting how it porpoised a little bit there, eh? Obviously I wasn't doing that. You know what I just remembered? I didn't stick the canopy on the sellotape. But it's flying alright. What current is that? Oh, there's no current meter on this, that's right. So ignore the current. Oh, this is convenient. The wind is going crossways to the runway. The airstrip there below. So that's our nice new concrete airstrip. And if I make a pass, let me just slow down a little bit. If I make a pass like this, this will be neutral to the wind speed. So whatever the ground speed is in this direction, parallel to the runway, that we can take as the actual speed or airspeed or whatever. By the way, I'm flying with the RunCam 2 on at the moment, which is not ideal for a speed run because it's a bit boxy and sticks out. But I didn't really have time to sort out anything better. Alright, so battery's at 15.6 volt. We've already wasted a fair bit of it before we even did our speed run. Whoops. But let me just head out parallel to the runway, or turn around so that I'm parallel to the runway rather, and we'll do a speed run. Alright, full throttle, go. Huh. 122? That's not very good, is it? That's weird. I thought we'd get way better than that because we got to 100 miles an hour last time with the 8x6 prop. Alright, let's get parallel again. And okay, full throttle here. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear the sound of the plane there as it passed, but the sellotape is catching the air quite a bit. So again, 123, 124 was about all I saw. Wow, 7x7 props not so good then, huh? Maybe the 8x6 was better. Anyway, now that I have the autopilot on board, I don't mind flying a little bit further out and a little bit further, or like a little bit riskier, closer to the trees and stuff. But see how it's not steady, you know? This is manual mode, so obviously I'm not making it sort of shudder around like that, but that's what we're getting. Let's try a bit of fly-by-wire A. See, it's still shuddering around a bit. See how shaky it is? There's barely any wind. I don't quite know what it is. Do you think it's the run cam stuck on the front? Because that's probably not going to be helping. Yeah, well, I guess that's it for this video. A bit of an anticlimax. So I was hoping that we'd see more than 100 miles an hour. So 100 miles an hour is about 160 k's. So I was expecting to see more than 160 k's on the OSD there. And I'm kind of thinking I might just do a little bit of line of sight flying, because I really like line of sight flying this plane more than I like FPVing it, because of the prop issue, the prop being in the screen, and also the views just sort of bouncing around. See how it's always just sort of bouncing up and down in pitch? Oh, I think I'll just finish the video here and do a little bit of line of sight flying. Can't do too much though, because I don't have the battery alarm on, so I'm going to have to check the OSD every now and then just to make sure I'm not getting too close to the limit. Oh, the canopy's... the hatch on top of the plane's all sticking up. Fortunately it hasn't flown off and gone and disappeared or anything. That's why it's so noisy. Let me pass, now that I'm flying line of sight, I can pass. I'll just glide over top of us, line of sight, and listen to the noise. Actually, it didn't seem too bad. Yeah, but the canopy's, that's why it wasn't able to go faster than 120, I think. Now I'm going to have to land it and that prop's going to break. By the time I've charged the battery, we'll probably have no daylight, because it's just after, I think yesterday was the shortest day of the year, which doesn't really leave us with a whole lot of daylight, even though it might look like it's going to be dark in like 2 hours. Let's see if we can get this down without breaking the prop. Oh, I think we did it. Yep, it's fine. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, but see the canopy? That's how it was flying, like that. So those two cables were the only thing that stopped that from falling off. Man, why do I always forget to... I just always forget to sellotape it on. I brought the sellotape with me and everything. Right, that was a nice landing, but it wasn't really... didn't touch down where I was hoping it would. You know what? I'm finding myself doing the rudder automatically now, and the reason is because I flew Homeslice8 so often. That's like the sailplane one, and when you're flying that one, the rudder is very, very important. Probably the most important of any plane I have, and I spent a lot of time flying that in thermals and everything. And finally, it's just become second nature to use the rudder now. Okay, so charged up that battery, and we still have a decent amount of daylight actually. Maybe I was a little bit too pessimistic about that. And I took the run cam off, and I put the sellotape on that I was supposed to have on before. So that should make it faster because the camera's not there, and also this isn't going to lift up and get in the way. Of course, with no camera now, you're not going to be able to see any footage from the plane. You'll just see the numbers from the autopilot, but that's alright. And I'm just going to have to fly at line of sight. I wonder what's up with that that strange porpoising at the beginning. Doesn't seem to do that any time afterwards. Alright, and we've got basically no wind. I'm going to call this no wind, so I'm just going to hit full throttle here. That's pathetic. There's no way that's 100 miles an hour. Now that was a bit faster, I think. That was downwind though, so cheating a little bit, and also with the dive. But I still don't think it was as fast as it was with the 8x6 prop that I tried like last year. Was it a year ago I made this? I think it was. Doesn't time fly? Okay, full throttle here. I have to push the nose down a little bit. Well, it sounds much better than before. Do you remember, I don't know if you could hear it in the last flight I did, but the sellotape was buzzing, and also because the hatch was open it was making this weird noise as well. But the noise it's making now is pretty good. Let's put it in manual mode and throw it around a bit. Whee! Oh, just have to remember I am in manual mode now. Oops, might have been going a bit slow there, I think. It didn't. Should be able to. Oh, no, it's not looping very well. Or maybe it's just me. I haven't quite accustomed to being in manual mode. Oh, and I'm getting turned. I'm losing my orientation a bit too, I think, is what's happening. Let's try and do a proper loop here. There we go. That wasn't so hard. Oh, it does. Yeah, when I do this, I pull right back on the pitch. Yep, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? But is that to be expected? If, let's say you're going along, decent speed, and then you jam the pitch on, it wants to go.
Oh my goodness.
What do we got? Motor mount broke off, prop broke, this linkage thing broke, the pitch linkage thing broke too, I think. Yeah. Alright, so these little plastic bits here broke. On there, that one's alright. Those screws, the other ones, just pulled right out of the plywood, I think. I mean, the ones that were holding the motor mount on just pulled right out. So that, yeah, here we go. Huh, look at that. So those are 3x12 self-tapping screws, and 3 of them just pulled right out. That plywood's only 3mm thick, so maybe if it was doubled up that wouldn't have happened. But then more damage would have gone into the motor, I think. Oh shit. Oh no. Didn't notice that. Uh-oh. I was going to say the rest of the plane, like the airframe itself, is okay, but unfortunately, no, it's not. It doesn't look too hard to fix actually, because it's in the right place. The bottom is just kind of holding on. Could probably just put some more fiberglass over that maybe. Well, I'm not really sure why I couldn't recover it there. I think it was just the airspeed got too low, which is why it stalled, and I didn't really have enough altitude to just let it fully nose down like I would normally do, and then when it's, you know, picked up speed enough, you can just pull out of it. So instead of doing that, I knew I couldn't do that, so I panicked and I kept like fumbling around with the pitch and the roll and completely lost my orientation. And I didn't have the presence of mind to do what I should have done straight away, which is just go like that. And probably fly-by-wire A would have sorted it out for me, even at that low altitude, because the plane, as you saw, can change pitch very quickly. Anyway, yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, but probably that there is the biggest breakage, and that's not even that much. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, that servo's still going, so the cable for the servo must be okay as well. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. Unfortunately, it turned out to be not very good. I haven't seen the speed, by the way, yet. You've seen it, so you know, but I'm not really expecting much. I doubt whether it even got up to the 100 miles an hour that we got with the 8x6 prop. And I'm thinking maybe the issue is that there's not much area on these props. They're quite thin. When you look at the 8x6 prop, obviously it's longer, half an inch longer on each side, but there's also a lot more area as well. So perhaps that had something to do with it. But I would have thought that just the pitch alone, being 7-inch pitch rather than 6, would have helped a bit, but didn't really seem to. Anyway, so yeah, I'm quite impressed at how well these foam and fiberglass planes stand up. Like, that had to have been a pretty hard crash. And just looking at it here from a crash forensics point of view, I think what probably happened is it hit this wingtip first, or maybe about simultaneously with the ground, because that's where the most of the damage is. And then it sort of cartwheeled and hit this edge on the ground. This has just a little dent in it, basically nothing. Yeah, but can you imagine what this would look like now if it was like a balsa and covering film plane? Ooh. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.